Hello and welcome. I am your host, Elizibar. This is It Came Out on a Wednesday. I went to record this before and I totally flubbed that opening, man. I said, it came out in a Wednesday. And it was like, oh, wait, I got it wrong. So anyway, I got it right this time. I thought, in the interest of full disclosure, I should be like, I got it wrong before. Cover is by Peter Samedi. It's pretty good and monstrous, which means that, of course, the behind the cover interview back in here is with Peter Samedi. That line art looks pretty good. Talks a little bit about motivations for being a publisher, that kind of stuff. It's an interesting interview. I'll let you read it for yourself. Got here, table of contents with a QR code. Has that QR code always been here? What do you do with one of those, by the way? What do you do with the QR code? Like, I would just go there, or I would type in DuckDuckGo. I'd be like, alternate comics, and see where it took me. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old-fashioned for this job. We get a neat little log story. Not a lot happens, although this witch does kill Bird, which is like definitely a low point in Bird's life. Uh, I find death tends to bring people down. Except in Babylon 5. Death there was had some more interesting consequences for the captain than just actually just being dead, you know? The log story has great looking art. The writing has that kind of earnestness that comics used to have. I mean, there may be a little over talkative, but it's over talkative in the way that Marvel comics used to be, not the way they are now. So it's like you have somebody and they just blurt out their motivations, as opposed to just silently depicting them doing something, which is boring. I think you know what I mean. Like if I had a an old Conan the Barbarian or something here, I'd like open it up and show you exactly the kind of fantasy stuff I'm talking about. Oh, this went for all like Marvel comics back in the day. I think it's just kind of a legacy of like this is just how Jack Kirby's mind worked. It's a good little story. It builds on the log lore. God, that's harder to say than you think it is. Log lore. Go ahead, say it. Comes fast. It's a good little story. I had fun reading it. Then we get this: The Secret Origin of Agent 87. Trying to avoid showing too much of the page. Robert Geronimo, writer, letterer. It's basically like she's the Phantom or something. Like that's her origin story. A little derivative, but it was fun. This memory lapse. Uh, this is the best Unit 44 story. The ongoing was I didn't like it very much, and then it got better. This was just like it's like what's going on? Why doesn't he have any pants on? And then you get to the punchline at the end of the strip, and you just kind of start laughing. Like that's pretty well constructed. It's not that long of a story either, so the pacing was pretty good. Just here, we'll just flip over to like they're just trying to figure out what were we doing. Coloring's pretty nice, isn't it? Actually, I think the art in this is better than the art in the ongoing issue or in the ongoing story. I don't understand why that would be, but apparently it is. We get this story, Surgeon's Song. I pretty much like it. So what's going on is you got like Frank Sinatra, and he's rich, famous, and has a heart attack. And he's like, man, I wish there was something they could do. What do you think happens if I flip the page over? You know exactly where this is going. Never make that deal. Never make that deal. So anyway, the art on this is by Larry King, who you probably have seen me review some of his other work before. The art's fine. I have something about the coloring feels off. I'm not entirely sure what it is. So this is actually the hardest part of reviewing this is I was trying to figure out what I didn't like, and maybe it was the zipatone. didn't work for me or something, because you can see it like on his face right here. Something about the coloring feels a little off, and I didn't dig that. But otherwise, it's a fine little story, solid line art, pretty good. The twist is exactly what you expect. This thing, The Long Path, I didn't get it at all. I have a feeling that if I actually knew who the characters were, I'd get it, but I don't know who the characters are, so I didn't get it. It's got really pretty art, though. The coloring's nice, the line work is nice. It's trying real hard to be atmospheric like a Japanese movie. Like it's just trying to be a samurai movie. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because there's not, but that's just what it's doing. Then there's this like mob hitman story thing here. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Very crime. It is kind of all action though, and it is also like the setup for another story. This is like the introduction, the origin story for a character. And so once I got to that, and I was kind of like, oh, it's right here, Voidwalker preview teaser. See, but I didn't know that when I went into reading it. And this one, Tiger vs Cobra, that's kind of a misnomer. That like there was no combat in that. I know, Peter Smeddy, you're trying to sell the book, so you got to find like the least promotional unit, that has a kernel of truth in it, to put on the cover. But that one feels kind of like a lie to me. So what's the final tally? I mean, there was nothing I didn't like a little bit. There was a couple things I liked a lot. Oh, I didn't even talk about the Mr. Cripps story. That oh, I'm glad I didn't, because you should read it for yourself. Little one-page comic. It's like reading a Sunday strip, and you get to the end, and you get this nice little jokey punchline, and I laughed out loud. It was so dumb, it made me laugh. So, good job on that one. All in all, very satisfying issue. $1.99, 48 pages. How can you go wrong? How can you go wrong? I don't think you can. You all have a great day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you next time. Check out, it came out on Wednesday, number 7. Like, I got nothing but pretty good things to say about it. And the few things that I didn't like were very gentle dislikes. It's not like, oh, this was terrible. You know what? Hold on. Let's just go back. Let's look at one of those. Like, I was talking about the coloring here in Surgeon's Song. That's like my only complaint. And I think it's like literally the zipatones. At least I think that's what that effect is called. And I'm not sure how you would do it differently in this art style, because I feel like that's the kind of art style this is supposed to be. But it feels kind of unusual. Like we're trying to make it look like a Sunday newspaper strip, but it's not working. Does that make sense? Because that's kind of how this feels. Yeah. I could go into more, but I think you get the gist of it. I'll see you all next time. Check it out. Uh, Definitely, like, if for nothing else, man, if for nothing else, just buy it for the art, because this log story's got gorgeous, like, old school fantasy art. The Unit 44 coloring is absolute madness. The line work on the Surgeon Song story was great. One thing, oh, you know what, here, I'm just gonna go up here. One thing Larry King does pretty well is facial expressions, man. He gets them pretty well. Like, same base pose, and you can just see him as he collapses, as he realizes what he's done. It's good stuff. All right, I'm going to shut up now, because I feel like if I keep talking, I'm just going to keep picking the book up, pointing something out, and then saying goodbye. So I'm just going to say goodbye. So bye-bye. $1.99, Alternative Comics. Check it out.